We're following two breaking news stories this afternoon. Duke University's head basketball coach Mike Krzyzewski is retiring after the next season, after 41 seasons with Duke. Meanwhile, a Wake County deputy is in the hospital after he was shot with an assault rifle. Law enforcement just provided an update in the last 2 hours, and we have team coverage coming up. Thanks for being with us. I'm Lena Tillett.
And I'm Gerald Owens. We are also watching the weather. The WRAL Storm Tracker is out on US 1 and Apex. You can see the rain falling hard right now. The WRAL Severe Weather Team is watching this very closely. Meteorologist Kat Campbell will show us where we will see thunderstorms and when straight ahead.
First, Duke's basketball coach, Coach K, is retiring after the 2021-2022 season. Multiple outlets, including ESPN, are now reporting this stunning news. WRAL's Durham reporter Sarah Kruger joins us live on Duke's campus after speaking with alums and students. Sarah, what a shock for them.
Lena, wow, a complete shock. It is still really sinking in what an impact this will have here on this campus, as well as for the entire sport. This past year has just been one shock after another in the world and in the world of college basketball. Now, add this to the list.
Duke students and alums will tell you Coach K is an integral part not just of Duke basketball, but of Duke itself.
So a living legend, honestly. I don't know, I think a lot of Duke culture is wrapped around basketball and him, and I think that, I don't know, I think he'll be sorely missed.
When you heard the news, talk me through your thought process.
Pretty blown away, not super surprised he announced before the season I'd have the retirement tour.
Even UNC fans were taken aback by the news. They know what it feels like having just gone through head coach Roy Williams' retirement.
What do you think this does for the rivalry with two new head coaches now?
Oh, I think it actually sparks it up, and after the pandemic and all that, I think it kind of, everybody's going to want to see, and I think it's going to kind of rejuvenate and energize us all back up. Not that we really needed it.
According to multiple reports, Duke assistant coach and former Duke player Jon Scheyer is the likely replacement.
I'm excited for Jon Scheyer. I really liked him a lot. I grew up a Duke fan. Really liked him when he was on the championship team in 2010. And I don't know how good he'll do, but I wish him all the best.
And I've reached out to the Duke University public information officials as well as those on the sports side to try to get any statement or reaction to this news. And so far they are being very quiet, not saying anything about these major developments. Lena.
We are desperate to hear from them, certainly. Sarah Kruger live at Duke University. Thank you.
And with a shifting landscape, we're certainly getting reaction from people across the board, players, those who know the game, analysts. Let's start right here with Jay Billis. He was a former player for Coach K years ago between 1982 and 1986, saying this is going to be the toughest act to follow in college basketball history. Dick Vitale on ESPN tweeting this afternoon, just learned on vacation about the news Coach K is stepping down. He says, I'm not shocked as we saw Roy Williams leave and now Coach K. The instability and wackiness in college hoops doesn't make for a fun time. Just two reactions right here to many. We're following this very closely here in the Live Center. Any major updates on this front or social reaction or any reaction at all for that fact, we'll have it for you right here on WRAL.
All right. Thank you so much, Mark. Now, when you look at Coach K's career, the accomplishments are just staggering. Okay, this will be his 42nd season at Duke, and part of the reason the court bears his name is because of this type of record. His record, 1,097 wins to his 302 losses. Duke has won 5 national championships under his watch and made 12 appearances in the Final Four. 67 of his players were selected in the NBA draft, 41 of which in the first round. He's also earned 6 gold medals as head of the U.S. men's national team, including 3 consecutive Olympic gold medals. And those numbers are just the tip of the iceberg here. Tonight at 5 o'clock, we will have a tribute breaking down the history of Coach K's career. We'll also hear from UNC's former head coach, Roy Williams.
Now back to that breaking news from Raleigh. A Wake County deputy shot with an assault rifle while serving an eviction notice at this apartment complex in Raleigh. Sky 5 was over the scene around 10:30 this morning. It happened in the River Birch at Town Center Apartments off Old Wake Forest Road. That's west of Capitol Boulevard. We have live team coverage on what led to the shooting and how the deputy is doing. It was certainly a tense and emotional scene for several hours. WRAL's Amanda Lamb has been there all day. She joins us live with what we've been able to learn so far. Amanda?
Gerald, what we understand from the Sheriff Gerald Baker is that 3 deputies were here serving eviction notices on multiple apartments. About 9 minutes ago, we got a press release from Raleigh Police confirming the charges for the person who was arrested in this shooting, Eddie Dwayne Craig, 32 years old, 2 counts of assault with a dangerous weapon with intent to kill, 3 counts of attempted murder, 3 counts of assault on a law enforcement officer with a firearm with a dangerous weapon with intent to kill, inflicting serious injury. Things are quiet here tonight, but that wasn't the case earlier today. It's the call no law enforcement agency wants to ever get. Officer down.
Around 10:30 this morning, Wake County Dispatch received a call that one of our deputies had been shot.
Sergeant Ron Waller with the Wake County Sheriff's Office was serving an eviction notice when Raleigh police say 32-year-old Eddie Craig opened fire on the deputy from his apartment door.
A gunfire came from inside of that apartment and struck one of our officers twice.
Officers from all over the county sped to the scene. At first, Raleigh officers put Waller in their car, then EMS arrived and transported him to Wake Med. Investigators say Craig surrendered, and now the healing begins.
On behalf of Wake County Sheriff's Department, we want to thank every law enforcement agency that came to our deputies' aid.
Now, several members of the Sheriff's Office, including the sheriff himself, got emotional today, thanking the Raleigh Police and the Wake EMS who responded so quickly to this scene and were able to get the officer to the hospital where he underwent surgery today. And as you can imagine, anytime you get a call like that for an officer, whether it's from your agency or not, it is just absolutely horrifying. And again, they just all got here to try to do what they could to help. Back to you, Gerald.
Absolutely. We all understand that. Amanda Lamb, live in Raleigh. Thank you, Amanda.
And Sergeant Waller, who was shot in the hip, underwent surgery this afternoon at Wake Med.
WRAL's Aaron Thomas continues our team coverage from the hospital with how the deputy is doing. Aaron?
Yeah, Sergeant Waller is currently stable after undergoing surgery here at Wake Med. Sheriff Baker calling the response from fellow law enforcement agencies tremendous. This was the scene outside Wake Med Hospital's emergency room throughout the day. A large presence of vehicles from Wake County Sheriff's Office and the Raleigh Police Department. Sergeant Waller's injuries are considered serious and medical staff quickly got him into surgery. He was shot twice. The sheriff and the chief medical officer at Wake Med commended the quick actions of Raleigh police officers who arrived on the scene.
We're very appreciative of the care that he received at the scene. We're very appreciative for the opportunity to work beside our brothers and sisters. Our thoughts and prayers are with the family, and we'll continue with them.
And Sheriff Gerald Baker, when he spoke to media, he said that what happened today shows you how tough this job is for officers and deputies, and it's dangerous, but they will learn from this. Back to you.
Aaron Thomas live at Wake Med. Thank you, Aaron. As you heard, the shooting happened as Deputy Waller was serving an eviction notice. With a moratorium in place because of the pandemic, we wanted to know why are eviction notices still being served. WRAL Investigates has that part of our coverage tonight at 5.
The WRAL Storm Tracker is on the roads. Take a look at how the rain is falling at this moment. This is US 64 in Apex. Meteorologist Kat Campbell is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center tracking storms moving through our area right now. Kat?
And it's some much needed rain. Luckily, the storms today do not come with a threat for severe weather. In Raleigh, we're starting to see some rain finally filling in for Wake County. Temperatures still in the 70s with the rain coming down right now. And all of this activity is moving to the north at about 30 miles per hour. There there are a few spots that are experiencing some lightning. We do have lightning in parts of Wake County, especially the western side of the county, as well as Johnston County. And Johnston County has seen the most lightning with this storm close to Princeton. That storm moving to the north right now. A few bolts of lightning just east of Goldsboro, and a band of some heavy rain that's moving through the western part of Wake County. This is all making its way toward Durham. So heads up, Durham, you are going to have a band of some heavier rain moving in during the evening commute. There is some lightning occasionally with that band as well. And meteorologist Amy Wilmoth was driving on US 1 in Apex earlier. She was telling me that there is ponding on the roadways. It's really slowing some people down, so be prepared for a messy evening commute, especially if you live in the western side of the county, Mooresville, as well as Apex, parts of Holly Springs, seeing some of the heavier rain. Storm chances 60% for the evening commute, but we could see severe storms tomorrow. I'll track the greatest threats in the timeline coming up.
Really welcome rain for a lot of people. Thank you, Kat.
Coming up, President Biden launching a month-long push to get Americans vaccinated. We'll break down his plan and the free beer incentive he supports. And a former funeral director is being investigated in connection with 2 bodies found in Caswell County. A live report ahead at 4:30. Breaking news at 4. Goldsboro police have identified the woman who was killed and dismembered. Her body left in a driveway next to this house. Authorities say 38-year-old Heath Stewart is the victim. She was found dead on Bright Street when a resident returned home and saw the body in the driveway. We reported last week that 29-year-old Willie Langston was arrested for the crime. He is charged with murder.
One of the 2 men convicted in the murder of Michael Jordan's father will have to wait longer to go on parole. The North Carolina Parole Commission announced today Larry Demery's parole has been pushed back to 2024. The commission previously announced an August 2023 parole date for Demery. No reason was given for the change in the release date. Demery and Daniel Green were sentenced to life in prison for the shooting death of James Jordan in 1993 in Lumberton. Demery pleaded guilty and testified against Green. Green has always maintained his innocence. He will have his first parole review in October of this year. And WRAL's documentary, Moment of Truth, covers the media frenzy and unknown facts about the case after Jordan's murder. You can watch it online on Amazon's premium free streaming right now.
Good afternoon. I'm Mark Boyle in the WRAL Live Center. How about this headline on the state's website? COVID-19 vaccine incentives. Anyone 18 years or older who gets vaccinated or drives someone to a vaccine site to get their first round is eligible for a $25 cash reward in some counties. This is a pilot program the governor announced this afternoon during his COVID-19 briefing. And if you missed that briefing, he also talked about rental assistance and utility assistance. His team rolled out exactly those details you need to know.
As Governor Cooper said, HOPE assistance is now available to very low-income renters who have lost income, been unemployed, or experienced financial hardship due to the COVID-19 pandemic. This includes people who have missed rent or utility payments at some point since April 1st, 2020, or have been faced with homelessness or possible eviction.
More on the COVID briefing and the ways you can get that cash right like this on the screen right here on our website, WRAL.com.
Thanks, Mark. Kentucky Derby winner Medina Spirit has failed a second drug test. The horse tested positive for a banned steroid after winning the Kentucky Derby back on May 1st. Now a second blood test has confirmed the presence of a drug. Race officials are allowing a third sample from the horse. Trainer Bob Baffert claims the steroid came from an antifungal ointment the horse was being treated with days before the race. A new Kentucky Derby winner could be crowned. Now to a live look over RDU International Airport. Starting today, you have 2 new destinations to choose from, plus more later this week. American Airlines added 4 nonstop routes. They include Austin, Texas, and Nashville, Tennessee, which both began service today, Destin, Florida, which starts Saturday, and Orlando. This is the latest sign of a return to normalcy after the pandemic dramatically impacted air travel. And something that could affect air travel today, the rain we're seeing in parts of our area. meteorologist Kat Campbell in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. You can barely make out the Raleigh skyline there because of all the rain coming down, Kat.
It is coming down, and this is welcome news for so many communities. But with an inch to an inch and a half of rain already fallen in the western part of Wake County, a flood advisory has been issued. This is just in, so this includes Apex, Cary, the airport area, the east side of Durham. This is in effect until 5 o'clock this evening. There could be some ponding on the roadways, and that's what meteorologist Amy Wilmoth was telling us about in the storm tracker. She said that she saw some of that earlier around the Apex area. So be careful on your evening commute. There are some localized heavy areas of rain this evening. There is some lightning as well. Not everybody's seeing thunderstorms. There's one bolt of lightning in southern Durham County at this point. Some lightning in the eastern part of our viewing area closer to eastern Johnston County, western Wayne County. That's where most of our lightning is right now. All of this rain moving to the north at about 30 miles per hour. So if you haven't seen as much rain as you want in our northern counties, it's coming your way. And we're starting to see it move out of our southern counties, but there is some lingering areas of rain behind this. You need to keep your umbrella handy, not only today, but through Friday as well. And this is our weather setup. We have a lot of energy moving in from the west in the upper levels of the atmosphere. And notice the white lines moving in from the Gulf of Mexico. That's our wind direction. So all of that deep moisture from the Gulf, it is coming our way, and that's helping to enhance just how widespread the rain is each day. And we need the rain, especially with the drought that many of us are in. 72 in downtown Raleigh right now. The state capitol, you can see the rain is coming down downtown. That's a live look from the City of Raleigh Museum. In Lake Gaston, you can see we do have mostly cloudy skies, a little break in the rain, 75 degrees there. And in Durham, we have seen rain today, 75 in Durham right now at the Durham Bulls Athletic Park. You can see the tarp on the field there right now. So when we look at our severe weather risk for tomorrow, our primary threats for severe weather, damaging wind gusts, small hail, some heavy rain possible as well. And this includes all of our viewing area for tomorrow in the level 1 risk. The higher risk for severe weather just to our north. Dog walking forecast in terms of the timing for the storms tomorrow, 8 a.m., 10 a.m., about a 40% chance for rain. So your best bet would be to get your dog walk in early. But I think that we are going to have rain on the radar at pretty much any time tomorrow. It's just going to be more widespread. Once we get to 2 o'clock, a 60% chance of rain. By 4 o'clock, a 70% chance of rain tomorrow. Let's take a look at the timeline for the rain and storms tonight. 5 o'clock, you can see Futurecast doing a good job with the rain and storms. By 8, 9 o'clock, we start to see this activity taper off. There will still be some rain on radar 8, 9 o'clock, just not quite as widespread. And overnight, about a 30% chance for rain. But tomorrow, our best chance for rain all week long, a 70% chance of rain and storms tomorrow. That should limit our high temperatures closer to 80 degrees. Friday, about a 50% chance of rain, especially in our eastern counties early in the day. And then a secondary line could swing through Friday. By the weekend, still a chance for rain Saturday, just 30%. Looks a little drier by Sunday, and the 90s are back once we get to next week.
Thanks, Kat.
Today, President Biden intensified his push to get more Americans vaccinated ahead of his self-imposed July 4th target date. This comes as states are offering their own offbeat incentives to get needles into arms. Alice Barr has the story from Washington.
In New York, you can get a COVID vaccine at the aquarium. In Ohio, a shot in the arm means a shot to win $1 million.
It's clearly working, and I think that's great.
And now West Virginia, giving away guns as a vaccine incentive. As states pull out the stops to increase access and interest in vaccines, President Biden declaring a national month of action aimed at getting 70% of American adults at least one dose by the 4th of July.
Let's go into the summer freer and safer. Let's celebrate a truly historic Independence Day.
It comes as rising vaccinations have driven COVID cases down to their lowest levels in nearly a year. New York City, once the pandemic's global epicenter, this week reporting no COVID deaths for the first time since July. Ohio now dropping its mask mandate and capacity limits.
Fully vaccinated people are safely shredding their masks and greeting one another with a smile.
For those still hesitant to roll up their sleeves, the White House is doubling down on outreach, announcing plans to recruit 1,000 black-owned barbershops and beauty salons to increase confidence and host vaccination clinics.
We need everyone across the country to pull together to get us over the finish line.
And if that's not enough, Anheuser-Busch now offering to buy a beer for everyone 21 years old and up when the nation hits the president's goal, getting shots in arms for 70% of adults. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
The president announced that some vaccination sites will stay open 24 hours on Fridays. He stressed that even with all the progress we've made, unvaccinated Americans are still at risk. Coming up, a teenager who fought off a bear is talking about the terrifying experience.
There was nothing really going through my mind except that I had to protect my dogs.
Unbelievable. Up next, the story that has gone viral and the teenager's reaction. And many people struggling to pay rent and bills, how a new program could help. Ahead at 4:30.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
A Russian artist has an unusual way of expressing her artistic ability within a portrait of Russian President Vladimir Putin. Check this out. She was inspired by Putin's recent statement promising to knock the teeth out of foreign aggressors. So she collected hundreds of teeth. She reached out to the dentist's office for this work. It's a little gross, but the likeness is uncanny. This work of art was destroyed shortly after it was completed, reflecting the artist's outlook on the art and that everything in this world is temporary, Lena.
From a pure artistic perspective, it's beautifully done, but that is quite the way to express yourself.
Out of the mouths of hundreds of people. Yeah, we don't need a close-up of the teeth, you know.
All right, let's move on here. This is a story everyone's talking about. A teen is finally talking today after she fought off a bear in an incredible video that's gone viral. Take a look here. You've probably seen it. The video shows the moment outside Haley Moronico's home. This is in Bradbury, California, the Los Angeles area. So you see the bear and the cubs captured on security video walking behind the wall of the house. The family's dogs run and charge toward the bears. Crazy little pups here. Then Mama Bear takes a swipe at one of the dogs. Then Mama to the pups pushes that bear off the wall. The bear runs off after that, and the girl can be seen carrying her dogs to safety.
My one priority was to get inside with all my dogs, and afterwards we were trying to talk through the commotion and communicate what was happening, and it was just craziness all around. My mom was crying after I told her what happened, and I was just shaking so much because it was just so crazy. I didn't think I had that in me, and I still couldn't believe that I pushed a bear.
No one can believe that. Moronico says she jammed her finger in the process. Now, this is a major do not try this at home moment. Wildlife officials say if a bear is in your yard, you should never confront it. You should certainly never touch it. I understand her instinct, and this one worked out okay, but...
You would do the same thing for Mowgli, wouldn't you?
Oh, I wouldn't, but I love me some Mowgli. I would say, I love you, Mowgli. I'm sorry that we have to part this way.
Oh, my goodness. And thank goodness there was a camera there. Because imagine trying to tell that story to other people and having people believe you.
Yeah. Wow.
All right. She's not going to go out of the house for a month. Coming up next at 4:30, 2 corpses found in rural Caswell County. It's a bizarre story. After the break, I'll tell you why law enforcement says a former funeral home director is a potential suspect in this case. Plus,
as we continue to recover from COVID-19, folks are still struggling to pay their rent and utility, but help is on the way.
I'm really excited about how it can help families get back on their feet.
We'll tell you where you need to go and what you need to do to apply for help in Fayetteville and Cumberland County.
Good afternoon, I'm Mark Boyle. Starting off right now at 4:30, we have the breaking news we've been telling you about now for several hours. Coach K to retire after next season. On your screen, let's get to the very latest information. Coach K, as we mentioned, will retire after next season. This is a developing story and has been and will continue to be. A source telling WRAL John Shire will be named the next coach. He is the assistant coach currently in the university statement in the next 30 minutes or so. So we're monitoring that and we'll have full live coverage for you as well as that develops this afternoon. This is a tweet. Let's see if I can find this tweet for you. Here it is. The ACC Network, take a look at this. This really puts things in perspective for you. Hard to imagine college basketball without Coach K and Roy Williams. Very simply put, factual. Back to you.
Absolutely. Those two legends retiring so close to each other. Thank you, Mark. A former funeral home director is being investigated in connection with 2 bodies found at a home in Caswell County. WRAL's Laura Levine is live at the sheriff's office with what we know so far. Laura?
Gerald, well, a spokesperson here at the sheriff's office in Caswell County tells me that officers were tipped off on Monday about a faint odor at a residential property. Later that afternoon, investigators went to check it out, and that's when they discovered 2 bodies. And now they're investigating what a local and now former funeral director has to do with it.
People in this area are shocked, just totally shocked.
On Memorial Day, the Caswell County Sheriff's Office notified the public that their department, the SBI, and the North Carolina Department of Insurance was investigating 2 bodies found in Samora.
And once we arrived at that area, it wasn't long after that the 2 corpses were discovered.
Deputies are investigating Jeremiah Randall Witt's connection to the bodies that were discovered. Witt is currently the funeral home director of Harrelson Funeral Service. A former neighbor of Witt's tells me she was shocked to hear the news.
I'm just astonished that this is taking place so close to home.
What was going through your mind when you initially heard the news on Monday?
I was speechless. I was totally speechless.
And just for clarification at this hour, we just received new information that funeral home service no longer in operation. So he is now a former funeral home director. Witt is currently in the hospital receiving medical attention, and no arrests have been made at this time. We are still working to learn the exact location of where the bodies were found. The sheriff's office here not ready to confirm that information with us, but we are told more information and details are coming soon.
Laura Leslie live in Caswell County. Thank you, Laura. Fayetteville police are looking for a man involved in a bank robbery. It happened May 8th at the First Horizon Bank on South McPherson Church Road, just as the bank was starting to close. Police say the man asked the clerk to cash a check. He walked around the back behind the desk and then showed them a gun. Officers say he moved all the employees into another room and then stole some money and left. Police say he drove away in a white car.
We have new information about a crash in Raleigh that left a motorcycle split in half. Police say the motorcyclist was thrown off the bike when a car failed to yield. The crash happened last night when a vehicle on Tryon Road tried to turn left onto Tryon Pines Drive. Police say the motorcyclist was seriously hurt. The driver of the car had minor injuries. We're working to learn if there will be any charges.
We are just 50 days, 14 hours, and 26 minutes away from the Summer Games in Tokyo. And about 10,000 volunteers who signed up to help this year have withdrawn from the Games. That's according to the CEO of Tokyo 2020. He told the Japanese media the committee doesn't believe the volunteer withdrawals will affect the operation of the Games. They currently have about 80,000 volunteers signed up. Several areas of Japan are under a state of emergency until June 20th because of COVID infections.
As we continue to get a better handle of COVID-19, many people are still struggling to pay rent and utility bills. WRAL Fayetteville reporter Gilbert Beige joins us live with information about a new program that can help. Gilbert?
Well, Lena, it is called the Fayetteville Cumberland Rental Assistance Program. We have officials here from Fayetteville and Cumberland County combining federal dollars that they receive, $10 million, to help folks down here pay their rent and utility bills. The struggle for families to stay in homes and keep water and electricity running is real. The stories of how COVID-19 put families on the verge of being homeless is heartbreaking. I talked with LaShonda McCrae by phone this morning. She lost her job last year at Caver Valley Medical Center after her family members came down with COVID-19 and she had to stay home to watch her children.
Both of my sisters, my sister and my mom, both were, and their mother as well was hospitalized due to COVID. So I didn't really have anybody to watch them. So I had no choice but to leave work.
McCrae, like hundreds of Fayetteville and Cumberland County residents, fell behind in their rent and utilities. The new assistance program allows residents to apply online or by phone for benefits. It's something Fayetteville Mayor Mitch Kovich says the city was already doing, but now there's more money to go around.
We were luckily already in the process of pushing those funds out the door, so I'm really excited about how it can help families get back on their feet as they recover financially from COVID, not just physically.
And as I mentioned, there are actually 3 ways that you can apply. You can do it online, you can do it by phone, or you can actually do it in person. You have to call and make an appointment to do that. That information on how you can get the link and telephone numbers, Lena, we're going to attach to the end of my story. If you know anyone who doesn't have a computer, let's get out there and help folks get this information. Let's get it to folks so they can get these bills paid.
Well said. Gilbert Bays live in Fayetteville. Thank you.
Ransomware attacks are ramping up on companies providing everything from gas to meat. Still ahead, how the latest company, JBS USA, is recovering from a cyber attack. And we have had masks, social distancing, and virtual learning in our lives for more than a year. How parents can help their children adjust to changes as life slowly begins to return to normal.